and I'm the Associate Vice President of Spiritual Life. What that entails is a couple areas. So one area is I'm over campus ministries. And another area is I partner with enrollment, like I'm partnering with Brittany right now. I partner with our development office. I partner with our student leadership. And so there's a lot of different ways that we go about doing this. But really the main goal, if you look at the emblem of CSU, you'll see these columns, and then you'll see a Bible open, and it really is built on the Great Commission. So since the greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and then the second is like the first, love your neighbors yourself. And so you have this great commandment, and then you have this great commission. That's really what we do. And so we try to reach students with the gospel. We try to raise them in the gospel. That is called discipleship. And then we release them to live a life on mission. And so we try to build in a lot of different missional opportunities, and that's built in stages. So one of the stages, for example, we'll do in the spring is we take people to a Converge conference, or we'll take them to Passion Conference, which is a national, really almost international conference held in Atlanta. It's in some other areas as well, like in Texas. But the big main one is in Atlanta. And this past year, they had about 65,000, 67,000, up to about 25. You can't get in if you're over 25 unless you're a collegiate minister or you're working at a university or with a church. That's the only way you can get in. And so we try to build them in stages, get them to go to a conference where they can really begin to taste and see the big heart of God for internationally. What's up there, Brother Tom? And then what we do is we try to encourage them to get involved in local churches, and then to build that aspect of maybe seeing, do they want to work at camp in the summer? They want to be an intern for their church in the summer, or does their heart have them captivated with national missions? So we partner with the North American Mission Board and GenSend, which are certain cities where they're trying to do church planning and those type of things. So it's a lot of fun, and then international. So, hey, Grace. And
Kyla just joined.
Hey, Kyla.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We got all these people muted.
Y'all are welcome to join the video and the audio if you want.
I'm going to put Tom, show your face. Hey, buddy. I just put in there, Tom, show your face. I love you. I can't hear you, bro. What's up?
I got to mute it.
Oh, good. Well, Patty, Stephanie, Kyla, Grace, feel free to text any questions, whatever you need, or if you want to change it to audio, absolutely. I've got people muted.
They can hear you.
Yeah, I was just wondering if they had any questions. So that's really the idea behind what we're trying to do, is trying to reach and grow people. So, okay, great. Explain about chapel. Let me take that first. So chapel right now, we have each semester, there are 14 weeks in a semester. And that also includes like Monday and Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. It also includes our fall break week, which is really, you have a Monday and Tuesday off in the middle of the semester, and that's where the professors put in all their midterms and all their grades, so it's kind of built in the system. So chapel, we offer 8 chapels in the spring, in the fall, and 7 in the spring. And every semester you're at CSU, you're required to be at 6 chapels. So if you went 4 years traditionally, and you went fall and spring, so that's 12 chapels a year times 4. So you're looking at 48. Now, most students get their chapels way ahead. So we offer 8, like I said, in the fall, 7 in the spring. Then we have what we call alternate chapels, which are really engage events. And we try to get them engaged holistically within the community and the CSU community. And so what we'll do is we have our Sweet 16 events, which are just big social events for the school. We have a career fair, those type of things, and they can get an engaged chapel credit there as well. And so we offer up to about 15 chapel credits, 16 chapel credits a semester. So some students take advantage of those. and they get ahead of their chapel credits. And so the big idea there at Chapel, the whole vision, is a place for the whole CSU community, faculty, staff, students, sometimes alumni, sometimes friends of the university that give to the university come, and we get together and we get to engage with the heart and mind of Jesus Christ so that God would raise a generation to live for his name. That's really what we do. That's the vision. And so we try to just lift up the name of Jesus. We try to exalt his name, and that's the whole goal of Chapel. And so that's been involved. And then Stephanie, you asked about how do I join the worship team? That's an excellent question. There's multiple ways to do that. On Thursday nights, every week we have what we call Elevate, which is just Elevate Jesus. And this is where students come together. It's a student-led worship. And they come together on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock in the chapel. And we've had as many as about, let's see, this year, 383 people, as many. Sometimes towards the spring, we average like 160. It's where they come together and we just engage with the Lord. And so we have a worship team. And after the first 2 to 3 weeks of the semester in the fall, you can try out for that worship team. And then we also, from that team, if you feel led, we have a worship leadership degree program headed by Professor Matt McCall. It's a phenomenal program if you're interested in that. And some people continue on and be involved in that. So you can just do it on a volunteer basis, or you can make it more towards on the academic side if you want. And that's a great way to get involved. And so it's easy. So it's every week is Elevate, and then Chapel is 8 times in the fall, 7 in the spring. So basically it's twice a month. And you have opportunities to go to that. And we try to bring in sometimes big speakers, or sometimes a big artist, or sometimes we try to showcase inside CSU. What's the heart of CSU? One of my favorites this year was in the fall, during football season, we had Autry Denson, our head football coach. And just really, he's a pastor. I mean, at the end of the day, he is a tremendous man of God. And he will tell you, we don't have a football team. We have an outreach ministry of the gospel of Jesus Christ with a strong football component. Now, here's a man who, in my opinion, is one of the best CrossFitters around locally. He's an unbelievable CrossFitter. People don't know that. He's a closet skateboarder, which is so interesting to me. He graduated from Notre Dame, top academics in his computer engineering. He is all-time leading rusher at Notre Dame, was the running back coach at Notre Dame. And just to get him up there and interview him and see his heart for the gospel, oh my word. And he doesn't need money. Played 5 years in the NFL. Then he said, I don't want anybody taking care of my money. He went back and got an MBA in finance just so he could manage other people's money. And then God just led him to start a movement for young people to help him, to help them grow and engage with the Lord. And so that was probably one of my favorite ones. And then in the spring, we had Anthony Evans, whose father is a pastor out in Texas, Tony Evans. And so just a tremendous man of God there. So those are the great ones. So let's see. About once a week they attend. That is correct, Patty. It's twice a month. And we do offer alternate chapel credits with these Engage events where people can get involved in the CSU community. And they're more social events, or they're more like a career fair event. We have a church and missions fair event that people are looking to do what type of camps can I sign up for and look for in the summer? What type of mission works out there, or churches? You know, we try to really, really connect people with the local church so that they might have a membership back at home, but we also want them involved in a local church here. So that way they can be involved and have community, because it's all about community. I mean, that's what we're doing right now through Zoom. Let's see, Stephanie, you asked, how likely is it that I can make it in the worship team as a vocalist? Are the positions in high demand? So great question, Stephanie. I personally am a singer. I mean, if you want me to sing for you, I will right now. Brittany, I actually officiated her wedding, and she wanted me to sing, but, you know, weddings are a little beneath me. I get so many opportunities to sing, so I'm more like on like the voice level. You with me? Okay, I'm lying. So I'm a terrible singer. So yes, you would be able to sing. They have a rotation. So what we try to do is not burn people out. We want them to engage in the Lord as much as possible. And some people are like, man, my way to engage is I just love serving. I just love serving. And that's how I engage. And we're going to get you up there because we have many vocalists. And we have at least 3 to 4 vocalists every time up there singing. Every time. And they'll rotate different songs. And so, yeah, you'll be able to get into me. Oh, I like your ha-ha statement about my singing. Yeah. Stephanie, I'm here for you. If you need me, like when you get married, I'm here for you. I can pastor. Tom and I can do the wedding and sing. And he probably can sing. I can't sing. So
John, I shared this with the group yesterday, and I think a lot of these were in the group, a lot of these students. But I actually met Cameron on the Elevate worship team, and Cameron is my husband now. So, and John did officiate our wedding. I think he does a great job at pastoring weddings.
Yeah, not singing.
I don't think I've ever actually heard you sing, John.
Yeah, I have a, yeah, it's bad. Stephanie, it's terrible.
But you did a great job at officiating the wedding.
I mean, there's nobody in my family that can sing. I mean, I'm sitting like, Lord, and sing. If you can sing, Brittany, she was Miss CSU, she got all the awards. And her husband is a tremendous, I'll be honest with you, Stephanie, and Patty and Kyla and Grace. And I hope I'm saying this, is it Jada or Jada? That I got to know because I'm nosy. But the great thing about her and her husband is that they met there on the worship team and just to see how God builds a community. That's what we want to do with y'all. We want you to know that we're going to do everything we can for y'all to be successful in what God has called you to do. And our job, it is actually our blessing from the Lord to walk beside you and see you become the women of God that God's called you to be. So, yeah, let's see. Am I missing anything else on there, Stephanie? Patty, how you doing? Grace, Daniel, what's going on? Give me a shout.
John, you want to talk about discipleship groups?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. So what we're doing is, we're doing this extra mile. When you come here, Dr. Costin, our president, has done a great job of putting together this passport to purpose. And so in your first year here, we really want to help you discover your passions because we believe that that's where your calling is. It's in your passion. Some people say, well, I'm passionate about making a lot of money. That's good. And we want you to make a lot of money. But sometimes that leads down a road of emptiness. And so we try to help you discover your passions. The way we do that is from our corporate worship gatherings, for example, through Chapel and through Primary Elevate. We have discipleship groups all over. We have them off campus. We have them on campus. We even partner with other parachurch ministries. For example, Crew or Campus Outreach, FCA, Athletes in Action, Young Life, Wesley Foundation. There's an apologetic ministry called Ratio Christi, or for the reason of Christ. And so we have all these opportunities, veterans ministry, for people to get connected. And these discipleship group is really life on life. It's, 1-on-3, 1-on-5, or it might be 2. It might be an RA and her roommate. And theirs might balloon up to 20 girls because they're just really ministering and doing well. And it's really there that you can begin to discover in a deep way what God has got for you. And so we allow them the freedom to do those groups and to help disciple them. And we meet with our leaders. And some of those are our resident assistants. Those are students that are over certain parts of the dorm. And we have great opportunities for them. And that's where life happens for our commuters. We have what we call house church. Basically what that is one of our alums, actually I have to say 2 of them, so they're alumni, they open up their home in North Charleston. It's a beautiful home. And she is an attorney, and he is a football coach at a high school. And they met here at CSU, and they open up their home. They have kind of a big home. And students come over on Tuesday nights, and it's all student-led worship and discipleship and community and lots of donuts, which I love. and Krispy Kreme, by the way. And so it's a great way for them to build relationships. And then, like I said, the parachurch ministries, and that's the discipleship. So you get to really kind of discover your passion, and then we help you make a plan, like a pathway for that purpose, right? Your pathway to purpose. And then you actually get in that junior year, you're experimenting and living that out. And then hopefully by your senior year, you're beginning to disciple other people as well. In your junior and senior year, disciple others. So that's the idea of discipleship. And so the way of discipleship happens in a large group, it happens in a small group, and it happens on opportunities where we do our collegiate big weekend in February, Converge, or we're going to take students on Passion, or we're going to take them up to Samaritan's Purse, which is a big partnership. We're going to do that over fall break. We're heading up to Boone, North Carolina, to meet with Samaritan's Purse. We were in a big conference call with them a week and a half ago, or a Zoom meeting, I should say. And so we're really excited about the many opportunities that we have. Let's see. I think, Stephanie, you put in there, is it easy to balance being on the worship team and majoring? Yes. So what we do is we want your serving the Lord to be a blessing, not a burden. So the reason why we do rotations is so you can balance. And so if you need to do something, or let's say you had an internship and it was running over or something else happened, that's why we have that. But yeah, it's real easy. Basically, they show up, they practice, I think, on Wednesday nights. And then on Thursdays, Brittany can tell you a little bit more on that because she actually experienced that. So I'm going to let you, Brittany.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a psychology major, and I always felt that there was a good balance. Like John said, that they do have a lot of vocalists, and they do that on purpose so that students don't feel overwhelmed having to be there every week for the worship team. Now, I was always there at Elevate every Thursday night, but I didn't serve on the worship team every week. So they do a good job of balancing and rotating the vocalists and the instrumentalists each week so that it's not a burden on you. I always felt that it was a kind of a release for me. So it was a way for me to kind of get away and get out of that mindset that I'm always doing schoolwork, and just kind of de-stress and hang out with some really great friends, build that community that was always encouraging me and building me up in the Lord, and always just kind of a good break during the week of stress.
Yeah, she is spot on. Students kind of live for it because it's kind of their community. You just get in and release yourself in the Lord, and it builds such great time and freedom because you're stressing. You're like, I got this big test tomorrow, or I got this big paper coming up, or I got all these things, and you actually get in there, and for that hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, you don't think about anything else. So it is a great time. Let's see. Kyla, where would I go to get information about discipleship groups? That's great. So all you have to do is when you go on our website and you see that little hamburger at the top, and you can go in there and click on Student Life. It says Campus Ministries, and you click on that, and right there you can see for discipleship. There's an email if you want to do that. What we do everything on an app. It's really cool. It's called Group Vitals. And so you'll sign up you'll send an email, and then they'll send you this link, everything for the app. Everything's done by the app. And you get to see who are the leaders, what they're studying, where they meet, those type of things. You get a kind of a bio about them, and you can kind of fill out exactly, hey, I want to be able to meet with them. And of course, we're going to promote them at Elevate. You're going to see them constantly up front, constantly before worship, after worship. We always have discipleship tables but everything's done through an app. And so it's so easy, and you can see that. But if you'll send us an email, in fact, I'll put it right here, Campus Ministries at csuniv.edu. You can email that, and we'll go from there and just give us your information. And that'll be super easy for that. Also, I'll talk a little bit about missions, and I got 7 minutes, right?
You're fine. We can go over the 30 minutes.
Okay. I just want to honor y'all. And so let me just briefly tell you about missions. This is where we're so excited. Like I said, we want to take y'all and move you into a place of really, really your pathway to purpose. What is your purpose? The reason why it's so huge for me is I didn't learn it till I was in my 30s. I was a football coach at Charleston Southern University for almost a whole decade. And I began to get unsettled and began to sense God calling me into ministry. So I had to go back to grad school with a wife, with children, no money. I mean, we want you to discover your purpose before you have to get to that. So that's our goal. And so one of the ways to do that is to get into areas where you see brokenness. And so what we try to do is move people. We move them real gentle. Whether you go to Converge, which is the state big kind of campus worship of collegiate students, or whether we take you to Passion, which is this more international, and you don't actually go to the place where people are broken without the gospel, but you can see infomercials. You can begin to go to different examples of that and begin to learn more about that and grow in that, and then allow God begin to speak to your passions. Because all of you are going to get a degree, you're going to get a specialization in something that becomes your platform, or you've earned the right to be heard, and then now you can use that for his glory. And so let's say you feel called to, I'll make up something, elementary education. And you say, I feel really called to third and fourth graders. Well, that's going to be your place to earn the right to be heard. But the difference with y'all is you have such an anointing from God that those children are going to be impacted greatly. So that's the difference. They're not just learning knowledge, they're getting transformed. And so we want to help you transform. In fact, I'm going to ask y'all, what degree program are you interested in?
Hi.
Hey, Grace.
I am going to major in middle grades education.
Okay, quick story. I taught seventh grade when I went to seminary, right for seminary. So I quit being a football coach here. I taught seventh grade. Mm-hmm. Listen, you're not a real, that is the toughest thing I've ever done. I had one girl, she dated the whole class. Grace, the whole class. The girl dated the whole class. I'm like, I just finally pulled the guys over. I was like, guys, listen, man, I love y'all, but can you not see this? She's dating the whole class. But anyway. So, Grace, you're interested in middle school, is that right?
Yes.
Super. So what, for example, there's such a need for middle school, as you well know, because you're interested in it. There's such a need, and such a need for the gospel. We will actually get you connected to where we would love for you to speak to. So we're connected with the high schools and middle schools right now through FCA. In the whole Tri-County area, there's over 780,000 people in the Tri-County area here in Charleston. The Charleston Metro is what they call it. We are so well connected through FCA. In fact, I know the area director so well personally. We worked out together. You can go speak. They're looking for college students to go and speak and share just their testimony, stuff like that, or just go. And you don't even have to speak. You can go and just be a part and sit and learn and grow. That's going to give you such a wheelhouse of learning some of those teachers that are there and administrators. You might get a job offer before you ever get out of school. So just let you know that up front.
That would be awesome.
That's true. So we're going to have you connected. Another group that does a good job is Young Life, where the first semester is they train you, and then the second semester you're in the school with the students. And so you would go eat lunch with them, do all kinds of stuff. So Grace, it's just a great way to get involved. And FCA, I'm telling you, I go and speak. I have to turn down. I'm only one person in that, and Brittany's one person and you're one person. So we can't do everything, but there's going to be some places you feel super connected, and we're going to help you. We're going to help you. Our calling in life is to help all of y'all discover that pathway to purpose. If we can get you to purpose, you will never get burned out on what you're called to do. Never. So that's our heart. What other questions y'all have? Y'all can type it in. Oh, you could have major in nursing. Now, is it Jada or Jada? Is Jada? No?
I think Jada.
Is Jada, yes? Is that a thumb up or is that a thumb down? Yes! I got a thumb up. Go ahead. I love emojis. So nursing. We have a lot of nursing students involved in campus ministries. And so, Jada, we're going to help you discover when you go to your clinicals and you're doing your rotations, you're going to go, man, I do not like geriatrics. You say, oh, man, I really like the psych ward, or you go, nope, I really love labor and delivery, or some love the ER. I mean, you're going to find that real sweet spot for you. Here's what we do. We partner with so many organizations. For example, the Ginseng, you actually can go up to 6 weeks in the summer if you want, and you get actually paid to do it. And you go to these cities, Miami or Atlanta, you choose where you want to go, Seattle. And you work with church planners, the top church planners, LA, doesn't matter. The church planners, and they pour into you and develop you, and then you minister during the afternoons and evenings. And so some people minister in coffee shops, some people minister through what they call Mercy Ministries, which something that might be in where you're doing some type of diabetic screening or whatever it is, or maybe blood pressure screenings, those type of things. We are connected with the Mercy ships. These are floating hospitals that go, you fly in for a week or a weekend, you fly in and then they go to a port. And then people like me, who are just pastors, who are basically nobodies, really, we just go in and we market. They're here, and you should see people crawl out of the alleys that are paralyzed, kids with cleft palate, people that don't have walkers or crutches, or then they do general surgeries on these ships. They're floating hospitals. We call it God's Navy. It's phenomenal. And Jada, you will love it. So there's a lot of opportunities to help you discover really that purpose and where you really feel called to that. So I hope that helped. Yeah, you said this helps so much. Good, because we want to get y'all involved as much as possible. Music therapy. So Kyla, music therapy. We also have a lot in music therapy. Again, I told you, if you need me, I can't sing, but I do like to play bass. I'm not very good at it, but I like to play it. So music therapy. So when you do your music therapy, you're going to find out whether, I'm really interested in children that are severely autistic, or is it really with the geriatrics that are dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's at different stages? I mean, you know the neuroscience. There's so much neuroscience now coming with music therapy and how it refires the synapses in the brains. They're dormant. They get dormant, and then so they can come back to life. And the music therapy side of that, the neuroscience, is phenomenal, because that's why music is so powerful. That's why God uses it, right? Because what it does is it engages the whole brain. So what we do with that is kind of the same thing. You would then be involved with certain ministries that allows you to use your music therapy. And you'll go in as a music therapy student. And you would go in and you would begin to minister the gospel. And so you can freely share the gospel, either through song or with song, and then explain the gospel with them with the word. So this gives you a really good practicum of finding out, is this my heart? Is this my passion? Because I believe that God is in the passion. This is why he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. That's where passion, that's where the idea of the whole passion movement came from, Louis Giglio and everything else. So Stephanie, chemistry. So let me ask you this, Stephanie, are you interested in teaching chemistry, or are you interested in more of the research side of chemistry? There's a reason why I'm asking. What are your thoughts? If you can type it in for me. Okay, so chemical engineering. So since we have these engineering programs, this is phenomenal. So what's going to happen is this. We have found, and research shows, that engineers reach engineers. Doctors reach doctors. And Brittany will tell you this, musicians reach musicians. I mean, Brittany was in Miss South Carolina. Yeah, I wasn't asked to go. But I'm not better, but she was in Miss South Carolina. So she has a platform with those other contestants that I would never have. I mean, never. And so what happens is you in that, we can put you, they have so many different ministries. Like, for example, learning the apologetic side of why God is real. And you know this in chemistry, just the fact of the chemicals in our brain working with the synapses. And it's all built on chemistry. our thought process, right? We have a thought here in this one synapse. You have chemicals, one called serotonin, right? It could be dopamine, all the other chemicals. And I know there's other chemicals, right? But that it carries that thought to the next synapse. So what happens when somebody says, like me, oh, I'm ugly, I'm ugly, I'm ugly. If this synapse, if there's not enough chemical to carry it to the next one, I get stuck in a loop and I go, oh, I'm just nothing, I'm ugly. Because there's not enough chemical to carry it to the next synapse. The synapse says, that's not true, John. That's not true. People do care about you. Stop being selfish for a moment. That type of thing, right? So it's kind of like the rational side, whereas people get stuck in this one loop. Well, that's what we do. We try to give you the apologetic side for chemical engineering. For example, you could take your chemical engineering as a student, if you wanted to, in such demand, you could then go and do an internship locally, nationally, or globally with a company. And it's strategic. Like right now, there's a friend of mine who just retired. He's an adjunct professor here at CSU. He worked for a huge petroleum company in, I can't say the area, but let me just say Middle East. And he actually was the pastor to all the engineers. And then those engineers would then have platforms to share the gospel. You could do internships internationally or nationally within those organizations for the gospel. So, I mean, it's huge. And then what it does is it builds a network for you and hopefully a job opportunity. So I hope that helps and gives you an opportunity for that. Brittany, how am I doing? I know we're at 10:35. Am I okay? Or
yeah, you're
hey, if y'all got more questions, come on. Yeah, isn't that cool, Stephanie? That is cool. I'm telling you. That is so cool what you can do for a kid. I baptized a girl. Check this out. I can set you up. There's a guy who retired. Listen, Stephanie, all right, I give you my word. I will do my best to do this. If God leads you here, I know it's to the Lord. Check this out. The head of Upstream International for Exxon. Now, I'm not making this up. So, hey, Jay, I want y'all to have Patty hear this. I want all of y'all to hear this. So y'all hold me to it. Stephanie, hear me. Grace, hold me accountable. This guy just moved to Kiawah Island. Kiawah Island is an island, for some of y'all that might not know, is right outside of Charleston. It's the wealthiest of the wealthiest. Is that right, Brittany? I think it's the top one.
Yeah.
So his daughter got her master's in chemical engineering. This is no joke. I officiated his mother-in-law and father-in-law's funerals. Now, I've kind of become this pastor officiant for the family. I don't know how that happened. Well, he just retired. He made so much money. He was the vice president of all the international upstream. What that is all the places where they do their drilling and they all across the world, Exxon, he was over that. So you know how much he made. Well, his daughter went into chemical engineering because she said, I'm going to do petroleum side. She went and got her master's. Well, she got radically changed by the gospel. She got so convicted at one of the funerals. I baptized her in Kiawah in February, the coldest month of the year, in the ocean. This girl was so much tougher than me. I was like, I got to get out of this water as fast as I can. But I got to know him. Now, I'm not saying he's born again. He has tons of connections. And because I know the family, I could and will do my best to help you get connected with them. And he has amazing connections. And when I tell you amazing, it's big time. And get this, I don't know how he got the job. I know he had to go back to school, but when he got his first job, he had only graduated from high school, but he's from Charleston. And that's how it progressed. And that's why he came back after he retired. But that's where it might lead. I mean, you never know. It's just a couple degrees of situation. Yeah. See, that's our job. Like, I mean, Stevie, right? You're called to this. My passion is not chemical engineering. My passion is to eat engineered food, like mega stuffed Oreos.
John loves them.
That's food engineering. Is that good?
Yeah.
What else y'all got? Come on. So that's the idea. Reach, raise, and release. Reach everybody with the gospel, raise them up through discipleship, release them through mission. Because you're going to live a life on mission. That's what you are. You are a Christian who's a chemical engineer. You are a Christian who is a music therapist. You are a Christian who is teaching, right? Middle school. That's who you are. That's who you are. And so that's what we want to help y'all do and get to that point. Anything else? I want to FaceTime. I was going to do a PowerPoint for y'all and show you. I mean, look, you can check out our CSU Elevate Instagram page and Facebook page and stuff like that. And you can see pictures of everybody who's cool, but we want you to get engaged. And when you get here, when you come here, we have this thing, orientation weekend. We have worship that first night. Anthony Evans is coming back and doing it on Friday night. It's going to be huge. And we're going to call it The Voyage. It's this idea of you're kicking off, and everybody's coming. It's our returning students, everything. Sign up, you get chapel credit for it this year. So, but everybody's going to be there. And from that night, you'll be able to sign up with discipleship groups and group vitals, or you can email me now and we can jump on it. Go from there.